March Madness, the perfect time of year for low-stakes gambling, diminished work output, and bracket-related internet content. See, it's not enough to spend the next 3 weeks incessantly talking about your bracket. You must also ingest pop culture brackets that claim to determine the best candy, the best sports movie, the most 90s band, and the best NPR program, which, good luck with that. I can't hear NPR without wanting to take a baseball bat to a room full of priceless glass heirlooms. If you're unfamiliar with this particular kind of content sausage, there are basically two different kinds of pop culture brackets. The first has polls in which voters determine the winner of each matchup, which adds a democratic tinge but also a click-whoring quality in which fanboys mobilize support to make sure that Han Solo wins the Best Star Wars Character tournament. The other has predetermined results created by a lone writer or the staff, which increases the outrage when ketchup beats mustard in the condiment bracket. I should note that this particular format is the one favored by my place of employment, SB Nation, which this year is running the Dave and David bracket, which I'll make an exception for because A, David Bowie wins, and B, it's sponsored content paid for by Yahoo. Yahoo, come for the 2016 Tourney Pick'em, stay for the thoughtful and informed discussion in the comments. And if you're wondering why SB Nation is doing brackets of Davids and the greatest living Americans, that's because everything else has pretty much been done. Reality TV seasons, the best song of this millennium, Muppets, Middle-earth characters, Saved by the Bell characters, beers, beards, burritos. I cannot stress just how exhausted this trope has become. It's become so standard that there have been BuzzFeed lists of brackets and even brackets of other brackets, which means that we're slowly closing in on the content imaginable. A slideshow of brackets of galleries of athletes' wives and girlfriends in bikinis. Click through to bring on the fall of Western civilization. Now, some of you are probably saying, what's the big deal? Brackets are harmless fun. Well, yes and no. I'll admit that it's harmless to argue that Five Guys is better than Shake Shack. Idiotic and wrong, but harmless. But from an editorial viewpoint, brackets are the kind of things that chip away at our attention spans and make the internet dumber and more argumentative. They take little effort to make, and the traffic and response they produce is inversely proportional to the amount of thought the writer puts into it. Here, let's go back to the who would win in a Middle-earth fight bracket from the OneRing.net. A note to those of you who may not know some of the names in the bracket. A great way to educate yourself on the vote is by simply Googling the name. We found that Wikipedia has a plethora of information on each character. Ho 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 ho! Thanks for the hot tip on those little-known internet secrets, Google and Wikipedia. And you call yourselves geeks. Hey, you want a great way to educate yourself on Middle-earth characters? Read the collected works of J.R.R. Tolkien. Listen, you want to take a shortcut? You can major in comm studies or cheer for Duke. Don't cruise by secluded nerd havens just to jump on the Balrogs bandwagon, which, by the way, a 5-seed is a complete insult considering it went the full 12 rounds with Gandalf. I'm telling you, these brackets are made by dumb people who don't care about the subject matter. Now what's worse is that pop culture brackets are divisive by design. Dan Fierman, the widely respected former editorial director of Grantland, told the Washington Post that pop culture brackets are deliberate provocation. They don't reveal any truth. And that's the biggest problem with pop culture brackets. They don't actually decide anything. After you fill out your NCAA tourney bracket, a bunch of teams play games that give you quantitative results that determine a superior side. And I'm not talking about a popular vote, but an actual sporting contest that produces inarguable results. Now, pop culture brackets rely on your insecurity, your need to validate your own opinion. Let's go back to the best Star Wars character. Han Solo is charming and handsome and gets the best lines, and for a lot of people, he's probably the best. But maybe you think the best character is someone who wields the Force. Maybe you prefer a conflicted character who murders ineffective middle management. I know I do. Maybe the best character is one who doesn't speak and wears a sweet mask and flies around with a rocket pack. Those are all valid beliefs that you can have, and they don't need a popular vote or a website's declaration for you to feel justified and confident about them. So the next time you see a bracket about a subject you love, take a look if you must. But don't get mad at the seedings or the results, and don't share it on social media and say, oh, this is so wrong. That's what the mechanism is built to do. Instead, give it the one thing it deserves: silence. And with that will come the quiet knowledge that what you like is just fine, and whether or not people agree doesn't matter.